It's an Appalachian river, boys, and the whiskey on that river pours like honey straight from out the comb and meat after a tour. There are honest wives and the fishing's fine. When you're here, you're a friend of mine. Pioneers and buccaneers, it's race down water time. Young man in a big old world fell in love with just one girl. Girl ran off, now he's alone. Race down water time. Darker days of memories past. God willing, this ice won't last. Only home he's ever known. It's race down water time. It's an Appalachian river, boys, and the whiskey on that river pours like honey straight from out the comb and meat after a tour. There are honest wives and the fishing's fine. When you're here, you're a friend of mine. Pioneers and buccaneers, it's race down water time. If the lake draws down and the fish don't bite, if Party Cove don't rock all night, if the river stops its mighty flow, he'll have one place to go. So spread his ashes thin out there, whisper up your silent prayer. There's one true home he'll finally go to find. It's an Appalachian river, boys, and the whiskey on that river pours like honey straight from out the comb and meat after a tour. There are honest wives and the fishing's fine. When you're here, you're a friend of mine. Pioneers and buccaneers, it's race down water time. Tight lines and fishermen lies, race down water time. Good evening and welcome back to the live stream. How about it? Racetown water time. So guys, welcome to the live stream. I'm going to give folks a couple minutes to kind of get warmed up, figure out that we're actually doing a live stream, and tonight is pretty chill. So I do have my notes, of course, but I'm sure there's lots of questions about the start of the season and all that penned up fishing aggression, you know? So whatever you got, just ask away. This is going to be kind of a question, answer, response kind of live stream, hopefully. And I do have some notes written down to just kind of guide that a little bit. So if you guys don't have questions, of course, I will guide the conversation. But ideally, I'd be answering you guys' questions directly. So thank you. I appreciate it. That is Racetown Water Time. That is my... I write songs. I don't know if you guys know that. My other channel is linked down below. You guys can check it out. It's actually blowing up right now. It is, it's essentially 4 times as big as my fishing channel. So as big as my fishing channel is, and as well as it's been doing, my other channel, my music one, is actually growing really fast right now. So if you want to check it out, the link's right down below. And I ride motorcycle and I document those trips and I play music and stuff. And then here we go fishing together, mostly at Racetown. So, we'll give people a few minutes to kind of, catch up to the live stream and stuff, and I'll just recognize you guys in the chat. So, Rick, good evening. I did see your message right away. Thanks for being here. You were the first one in the chat, and I appreciate you showing up early. Jeff, thank you for the support on the videos, and yeah, I want to get out to Racetown at some point, too. And I'm actually going to be out tomorrow, so... we're going to be hitting, I think most of the charters are going to be hitting the water pretty strong starting next week. So April 1st is usually, it's kind of like the unofficial start to the chartering season anyway. I know that's not like a pleasure boating kind of time frame. So if most of the time, if you go to the lake, you're thinking about swimming or barbecuing, probably not there April 1st, but it's great fishing. So we start chartering. The truth is, it's probably been really great fishing for the last week or 2 weeks even. But nonetheless, so April 1st is kind of the unofficial start. But you're in the right place, Jeff. We're going to try and answer some of your questions tonight, hopefully. Good evening. Thank you again. Appreciate you supporting the song. I did put that song up for download if anybody wants to download it. Guys, sometimes I just record it right here, same microphone that I'm using, and I just, throw it up there. So you guys are welcome to download the song so you have it. You can use it as a ringtone if you want. All right, good. So that's everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for being here so early. Tonight, like I said, I'm kind of doing like a question answer thing. So I want to kind of keep the topic centered on striped bass, though. So we can talk about other fish too as well. It's not a big deal. Well, the conversation will go wherever the conversation goes. However, I want this stream to be focused on the striped bass early spring fishing that we're all kind of excited about right now. There's a little bit of a buzz in the air. There's a couple reasons for that, and I'm going to talk about that as well. We'll just give this to about the maybe 10-minute mark or something like that. And we're at 7.5 minutes, so just a few minutes, and then we'll start it up so that folks can catch up. They realize. So if you have a few things, I guess while we are waiting for them, I can certainly throw this up. This is just randallrydes.com. This is my website. If you didn't know it existed, you should know, but it's just randallrydes.com. It's right up there at the top. When you guys go to the website, you'll see that the Lewistown fishing charter right here is currently discounted $50. So that is over today. So as of midnight tonight, the discount price is going away. So if you guys want to get the discount price, feel free to book it up here during this charter or whatever. Shoot me a text or whatever. Just talk to me. And then starting tomorrow, the charter is going to go to full price. So it's $300 now. It'll be $350 tomorrow. And then Lake Erie, I've decided I'm actually going to keep this discounted price. So it's $450 and it'll change to $500. But as long as you book before July 1st, my first charter in Lake Erie is going to be the week after July 4th. I can't remember which day it was. It was like the 7th or something like that. So as long as you book before July 1st, I'm going to honor the discounted rate. So if you guys want to go to Erie this year, it's a great year to do it. It's going to be a great year for it, guys. And if you haven't made it up to Lake Erie, or maybe last year zipped right by you and you just didn't catch it in time, this is going to be a great year. Really looking forward to it this year. I think we're going to do really well, and I'm already confident. I'm ready to go now. I'd go up now and fish it if I could, but Lewistown calls. And then I want to say I did get a couple of the jigging lure orders in, so I do have all of those shipped out. So if you ordered a lure from me in the last week or two, they are all shipped out. So they're on their way. If you guys still want a jigging lure for the spring, pick one up. I'm happy to send them out to you as well. All right, and that's just kind of my little plug there. I guess that's long enough. We can kind of get into this and stuff. Let's check out if you have any questions, just shoot them now. And if you aren't very active in the chat, all you do is you type into the response there. And guys, if you're on the television, and I'm looking at it, and it is a high percentage, or something like, I don't know, 65% of the people who watch my streams and stuff, they're watching it on the TV. So if you guys are on the television, the old television, feel free to text me. I have my phone sitting here in front of me. If you just want to text message me, if you have a question you want to ask, you can do that too. And if you don't have my phone number, let me share it with you. It's on my website. You just scroll all the way down to the bottom, and it's right there. So that is my cell phone number. By now, you guys should have my cell phone number in your phone for two reasons. One, I want you to book a charter. But two, if you get broke down or stranded out there, even if I'm not on the water, I usually know who is. So I might be able to help you out, or at least get somebody to help you out. So get my number in your phone. If you guys want to send me a message tonight, you are welcome to do that as well. So either in the chat or on the phone. Slice of life. Good evening. Thanks for sending the jigs again. No problem. It's my pleasure. Can't wait to get up to Lewistown and put them to use. All right. Fish Kings, welcome to the chat. All right. So I think what I want to do is, since I don't have any questions coming through, if you guys don't have any questions for me, I'm just going to kind of guide it a little bit, and I want to talk about striper with you. So the spring striper bite is something that's kind of legendary at Lewistown Lake. There's a lot of talk, and there's a lot of I want to talk about like some of the myths and the legends. People treat striped bass at Lake Lewistown kind of like, the Loch Ness Monster or Bigfoot. They're like, he's out there, they say, but you can't seem to get a good picture with him. You can't seem to catch him, can't seem to find him. So I want to try and lay some of that to rest so that whenever you guys go out, you have a little bit of confidence. You know, you'll be in the general right areas. And as long as you're running good rigs, I'm going to talk to you about good rigs too tonight. So we're going to kind of bring you up to speed. So Jeff is asking, what's the best time of year to go fishing for striper? So I think it is a common consensus that the early spring bite for striper is one of the best times to go for striper. So what am I talking about is really just April and May is going to be what most people would call the best block of time for them. But it's like everything. There's an opinion to it. Some folks have a technique that is better suited for warmer water stripers, or they just know where the striper hold whenever there's a lot of summer boat activity. So the point is there's not really a solid answer for specifically what's the best time of year to go fishing for striper, because it's the striper, guys. Stripers are eaters, man. They are an ocean fish. And when they don't grow to be 30, 40, 50 pounds without eating. They have to eat. So what's the best time to go fishing for striper? It's when you found them. That's the biggest thing. You have to be able to find them, and if you don't know where to look to even start, that's where you're going to have some issues. Because here's something I'll tell you about Lewistown Lake, and I learned this the hard way when I really started fishing it. Think of Lewistown as a desert. You might be guilty like I have. Like, I'll put my boat in at the ramp, and I'll start motoring out toward the no-wake buoys, and I've already got lines going out. Does that sound like you? Immediately putting lines in the water, you're casting the banks, things like that. You have no idea where the fish are. And I know there's a good argument for like, well, you don't stand a chance of catching if you don't, get a line in the water. But I can tell you, to be more productive, I think you should burn some gas and you should look around. You should do some scouting. And I don't think that having lines in the water is a good idea while you're scouting, because it's going to change the way that you look around. You're gonna move slower and with less purpose. And imagine what you're looking for in this desert is the oasis. The oasis is where all the fish are. And you can extrapolate this for any species of fish you want to go out there and look for, whether it's lakers or bass or muskie, pike, yeah, or whatever. If you're looking for striper, whatever the type of fish is that you're looking for, you're going to want to cover water, because Lewistown is like a desert with all these little oasis, little patches, these places that are holding these fish, and they're moving constantly. So you're going to search, you're going to cover a lot of water, and you're going to be looking for that oasis. And then when you found it, that's whenever you send the lines out and you do your catching. So what's the best time to go fishing for striper? Simply put, it's when you've found them. I would say don't even put lines out for striper unless you know there's striper there. So get used to reading your electronics so that you can actually see them. And that's going to be frustrating because the desert's big, right? Lewistown Lake is huge. It's a huge lake. There's, of course, bigger lakes, but most of us would agree that you can't exactly fish Lake Lewistown in a day. So it's big enough that you're going to have to burn some gas if you want to find the oasis. So let's narrow it down a little bit for you, so that when you're going out and you're actually scouting for striper, what I'm going to do is I will share with you what I know works, just some simple things that I call these rules to break. Because yes, they're rules. At the same time, fish just go where fish are going to go sometimes. They're like deer. Deer aren't supposed to live in the bushes behind your grandma and grandpa's house in the middle of the cul-de-sac, and yet that's where the big one is at, right? Sometimes deer just do what deer are going to do. Sometimes fish are just going to be where they're going to be at. So when you've found them, you know that you're onto something. But there's some rules that you can break while you're out there, but there's some rules you should try to, kind of stick to whenever you're scouting so that you can find these oases of fish with more consistency. So the best time of year goes good, as we covered that. Thank you. Yeah, good tip. Thank you. We do the same in the Chesapeake. Yeah, very good. Very good. You need to scout them out. Yeah, so striper are notorious for a lot of things, but they're moving fish. They're cruisers. They're just moving along and they're hunting. And whenever they find food or whatever, they find a place they like for some reason, and there's some reasons I'm going to talk about, they swim past it, they'll go up around, but then they come back to it. So they come back through it. And this is why it's effective if you mark them to go over there and set up and just downline. Like, you don't even have to troll. That's why this technique works, is you can actually park right there where you saw them. Now, when you get over there, you're not going to see them because they're moving, right? The only place on the lake those fish are not at is where you just saw them. It's frustrating, I know. It's like, I just saw them. I know they were over here. Just park. Just park. Stay there. Because they have a pattern they're going to run. They're going to come back through that area, and you just got to be there when it happens. So you'll see guys who are set up doing downlines, and if you're not familiar with that term, you can do some YouTubing for it. It's a very simple rig, but essentially you're parked in one spot with your lines down at different depths and different baits and stuff, and you can run different baits for striper, but never forget, they are eaters, guys. So if you put something out there that striper will eat, it's a good chance they're going to eat it. You just have to be there. You have to be there. And it's going to be frustrating because it's not the Chesapeake. You're not going to have schools of 600 striped bass coming by and blowing up the surface, and it's not going to be chaotic and crazy. I have fished Lake Lewistown for a lot of years, and I've looked at some rough weather, but whenever the fishing was good, I was going to go. I spent a lot of hours, a lot of days out there. 2 times I've seen striped bass blowing up the surface. 2 times. It just doesn't happen that often. And it's tough to get over and fish them, too. I can tell you, both those times I did go over and fish them, and both those times I blanked. I did not succeed. So I was casting into them. I trolled through them, and I was casting while I trolled through them. I still didn't pick anything up. So how many lines do I use? That's a great. Let me talk about that in just a minute, okay? Because well, let me go into it now. So how many lines do I use? So legally, 3 lines per person on the boat with a license, right? So that's what you want to do. Max out your lines. You want to give them a big fat spread and all the different depths and options and stuff. Here's the problem with that is tangles, depth issues with getting caught in trees, managing that many lines, plus other boats are coming by and such. So there's some issues with all that, right? But let me say this first. If you can only get one perfect rig out of the boat running and consistently you're very confident in that single rig, run 1. It's crazy to suggest that, but if it's right, and I'm telling you, you have confidence in it, run that 1 rig. And then whenever you get that one set, take the second rod and start tying it up and get another perfect rig. I'm telling you that I want you to have the right line with a knot that you've tested and you trust. You don't have any doubts that knot is good. If you're using beads or swivels, if you're like me, I like to use some beads on my lines. And if you have 2 lines that you're 100% confident in, then when that fish hits, you're going to pick your rod up and you're going to set it and you're going to lean into it and enjoy that ride. We live for the bend, baby. But you're going to be on for that ride, and I don't want you to have any doubt in your head whether you sent out a good rig or not. Whenever you can do that with 2, then you go to your 3rd, and then to your 4th. And at that point, I can tell you guys, if you're running 4 lines, like quality lines, Those 4 lines, if you go through the striper, there's a very, very good chance you're going to be picking them up. You might have 2 rods fire off at once. You know, when you got 4 quality rigs out, you are in such a good place. You are fishing highly effectively. So don't look down on yourself if all you can get is 4 lines out. That is incredible, man. Get you and your buddy, and you guys go out, and you guys really focus on quality rigs and pull some, let's say you're running the classic shad, right? You're just going to run some shad. So you got to get some bait. You'll learn that technique as you're out there doing it. But you get some bait, and you just do a simple hook through his nose. And I like to hook him up, right? And a hook to suit the bait. So I don't want a real big hook and a little bait. If they're little baits, guys, if you catch bait that's like 2 or 3 inches long, use a small hook. It'll still bring a striper in. I've caught some nice striper on itty bitty little hooks. So if the fish's face is as big as my thumb, 1 second, I had some hooks right here. The hooks is like real conversation. I know guys have a lot, so I got some right here, so I'll just show you. Might be something that's on your mind. So there's a hook that I'm using for striper. I'll give you some comparison. There's my index finger. So if my fish's face is as big as my index finger, this hook's probably just a little bit small. But this would be for a smaller bait. You know, something like that. So whenever I send these through my fish, what I want is I want a very exposed hook, right? So I'm going to put this in that nose so that the hook is exposed. The throat of the hook needs to be, you know, you don't want it buried. You don't want your hook down like this, is what I'm saying. You don't want it buried. You don't want to bury the throat of the hook. When you're done threading that hook through there, you want it to be exposed. So more hook exposed, more opportunity to hook your striper. But I have a couple different sizes, and but you want to match the hook to the size of your bait. But if you're just doing a simple rig, but making sure it's perfect, look and consider. So what I do, I run Carolina rigs. And a Carolina rig is real simple. It's just I use a sliding egg weight. So main line down, and I put an egg weight on it, just a light one, you know, 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, something like that. And then I put a swivel there. And then I run a leader about 4 to 6 feet to a hook. And that's where my shad goes. So the weight lets me send it out like 5 feet behind a board. And then I know that weight will kind of pull it down. And it'll be, you know, 2, 3, 4 feet underneath the water, depending on how fast you're pulling. But that gets your bait down just below the surface, and it controls it, because that shad can't pull that weight up. So he's going to have to stay down there swimming along. So you got him kind of controlled at your depth. And then you want to do another one, same weight, same line, same rig, but instead of 5 feet behind the board, you want to put it 10 feet behind the board. And now it'll go a little bit deeper. And then put another board out and put it 15 feet behind the board, and then it'll go further down. And I personally don't think you should do any deeper than that. So if you're running Carolina rigs, it's the simplest rig. You guys can learn how to tie that tonight. But do a Carolina rig, and I sometimes put some beads up there by the weight too, just so it kind of has a little chatter sometimes. But that's just a preference. You don't have to do that. I like red beads. But if you're running a Carolina rig with a shad back there, and you just do a couple stacks, couple different depths, figure your 2 outside boards 5 feet behind the board, and then your 2 inside boards are 10 feet behind the board, and you got 4 quality lines pulling behind your boat. So you and your buddy are going out easily managing 2 rods per, and you are effectively fishing for striper. So those are your rigs that you're going to run. But when did you run them? Before you found the striper? No, of course not. You have to find the striper first. So I'm going to come back to that. Where are the striper? That's why this live stream is titled that. Before you can catch striped bass, you have to know where to go for them. So we're going to talk about that. Give me 1 second to catch up with the comments. Guys, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. It's a good live stream. I see the counts are going up. I see you guys. I know some of you aren't participating, but I see you in the wings. Thank you for being here. I feel the love. Thank you. So how many lines do I like to use? I think I kind of covered that. You'll see my boat out there. If you guys cross paths, I will have a broad spread. I do send them down, and I do line stacking on them. So if you see me having 6 boards out, I probably have line stacked on at least 4 of those. When I'm talking about line stack, I'm talking about 2 shad, high and low, on at least 4 of them. So those 4 boards are double stacked. So that's 8 shad on those 4 boards, and then I have some boards out and some other stuff going on. But yeah, I believe in a heavy presentation. If I can get 6 striper on at once, that's what we're going for, man. If we go through the school and they all want to eat, yeah, I want it to be chaos. I do. And I want you to be there for it too. So Jesse says, my biggest mistake is fishing a memory. Oh my gosh. You and me both, buddy. You and me both. Because one day a spot's loaded doesn't mean they're going to be there the next day. Yeah, it's hard not to head straight to your favorite spot, though. That is the truth. I think everybody in the chat can feel that comment. That is just the truth, Jesse. Thank you for saying that. Whew. It's a hard one. It's a hard one to break. That fish doesn't care if you like that spot or not. If he doesn't like it, he ain't going to be there. And timing can change that. Different time of year. We think of like the 7-point saddle. I've caught so many fish off the 7-point saddle. And then all summer long, you go over there and you fish that 7-point saddle, and it can be barren. You can fish it every time you go down there all summer long, and there just doesn't seem to be any life on it. Scott says, good evening, Randall. Good evening, sir. Is there any place on Lewistown that a guy would have a decent chance to catch a striper from the shore? Absolutely. That's actually a great, great question. Right now, if you wanted to go bank angling for striper, the window for this is really narrow, okay? Because striped bass, whenever the water starts to warm up, they're going to tend to get out of, the water's warming and the traffic increases, they're going to move out of certain areas. But right now, there's a couple spots I can suggest. I'll give you 2, and then you can just look around the lake for places similar to those, and you can try them. And here's the issue, is the striped bass just might not be there when you get there. So you could fish it, not have any luck. It doesn't mean it's not a good spot. They're just not there when you were. This is the whole downlining thing. It's going back to, you just got to be there whenever they come back through on that pass. They're going to frequent this area. Doesn't mean they live there, because they're always moving, so they frequent it. So 2 areas. One I would suggest is, I'm going to send you to Weaver Falls, first of all. Weaver Falls, a couple years ago, we did a bank angling event. You can park right at the bridge that comes across there at Weaver Falls, just before you get to the ramp. And you can park. There's a little parking lot on the eastern side, on the eastern bank. You can park right there and just kind of hike down along the side. There's some great area along the edge there to fish. The water gets to be about 10 to 13 feet deep or something like there. And you do your downlining out there. So put some lines out. It's a good spot. It's a good opportunity. And I think you're going to enjoy it, because you're going to have lines. If you have good rigs, you're going to have lines firing off. What will you expect to catch there? Striper, of course. But catfish and white perch are going to be very common there. And people do pick up walleye there as well. So it's a good spot. And I think if you're a bank angler at Lewistown Lake and you haven't discovered that bank along the edge there at Weaver Falls, you need to. And if you want to see why, just go back and watch my bank angling series. It's one of the first ones I did. So go back and watch my bank angling series. And we actually fished that. A whole crew of us, we all kind of got together, and we did great. It was an incredible 2-day, I think it was a 2-day event. And I think you'll love that. So it's a great spot. The second one right now, I'll just tell you to go to 7 points. And right down to 7 points, you go over to that pull-off, the gravel pull-off, after you pass the dock on the right-hand side. There's a gravel pull off there. Some picnic tables down along the side. When you set up, you're going to be looking across the 7 Points Bay at the... So you'll be looking out across the bay at all the houseboats and the marina on the opposite side. So you're just going to cast in. And this is where I did the bank angling event for carp fishing. So those two areas right there, and you can extrapolate that. You can look across the lake and other areas that are similar to that you can get to. Go bank angling, my friend. Right now, you got a narrow window, though, so clear your schedule and go pull yourself into it. Should be good for a couple weeks, though. I love that comment, Jesse. Fish in a memory. That is so hard to overcome. Yeah. So Scott, I think that's my best input right now. Without talking to you face to face, I think you're understanding. That'll give you an understanding of what I'm thinking. But those two spots, if you just jump back and forth, I think you'll be happy. My go-to board, Jeff. Well, a gentleman down at the lake, he actually makes some boards, so I got a set from him, and they work good. So I'm just going to keep using them. I don't think he makes them for public sale for everybody. Like, you can't just order them from him. He makes them when he makes them, and he sells them. Just keep your eye out. When in doubt, you can always get a big box, a large company planer board. And the truth is, they all work. So it's just what your preference is. Just keep in mind there's a difference between a bait board and a planer board. Like a planer board would be a heavier board. Like it'd be something you can run a little quicker. You'd pull like crankbaits behind and got a harder clip on them because your lure is going to be dragging on it and stuff constantly. You might be in some waves and chops and stuff. So you want a heavier duty board, but like an offshore or a yellowbird or something like that. But a bait board is going to be a little bit lighter. The clips will be lighter. The board itself will be lighter, and it won't be able to take as much chop or some strain from your bait because you're just pulling a shad or a trout or something that back behind it. So a lighter board is used for bait, is what I'm saying. Just keep that in mind whenever you're shopping. And then use what you got. Don't get too hung up on brands and stuff like that. Use what you got. Any luck with artificials, trolling or casting? Yeah, we catch striper on artificials all the time. I am an artificials fisherman. If I have my choice, if I am going fishing just for me, I'm almost exclusively artificials. I use live bait for the purpose that I have people who come on my boat frequently that are novice fishermen. And you have to have feel and technique and things like it. You have to know how to use a rod and reel and how to present an artificial to make it effective. And a novice fisherman, which I frequently get on my boat, isn't going to have that skill set developed yet. So I pull a lot of live bait, but it's almost always for others. It's not for me. So artificials, absolutely, baby. I'm all about the artificials. My lure does catch striper. I always get people who are jigging for Lakers, and for some reason, there's a striper down there with them, so they end up catching them. We caught 3 striper jigging my lure right on top of the hump at the beer barrel. Here last year, I had a little, small crew, just a couple of guys just bouncing lures, and we ended up pulling up a couple striper. Little guys, like schoolies, we threw them back. Good evening, Doug. What's my trolling speed? Yeah, I'll say I'll vary it, but for live bait, I think it's hard to... I'll say you want to run at the speed that your bait looks best, so the presentation looks best, that you can control and you can manage with the wind and around traffic. So what I usually tell folks, especially folks who are just getting into bait, pulling live bait, is I tell them to go as slow as you can without stopping. As slow as you can without stopping. And I don't think that's a bad starting point. Because if you know how it is, you get out there, running a boat slow like that is difficult. So what that does is it forces people to really try to slow their presentation down, and they get it as slow as they can manage, and they're probably still running a mile per hour, If you can keep it below 1 mile per hour, I think you're in good shape. But yeah, as slow as you can without stopping. That's always been my recommendation for running live bait. That's a good question. Good. Man, you guys are on it. You got good questions for me. I really appreciate you being here. I just want to remind, so I'm going to talk about locations next. So before I jump into that, I'm going to just pull back up to Randall Rydes Fishing here, just to remind folks, today is the last day. So I'm running this discount here. So if you guys want the discounted price for the charter, you have to book today. Starting tomorrow, the price is going back up. And I'm going to run the Lake Erie discount right up to July 1st. So you have time for that. It's no big deal. If you want to go to fish up in Lake Erie, I'm going the week after July 4th. That's the first week I'll be at Lake Erie. But just heads up. That's all. Good. But thank you for your feedback, guys. You guys are being really interactive. That's good for the chat. If you guys would do that for me, I'd appreciate it. That lets the YouTube algorithm know that we're doing a good job here. Thank you. What are the striper eating early spring? Man, they're eating everything. They're striper. Choose your bait and feed them. I don't think that they're nearly as picky. There's some folks that think they're very picky. But I'll tell you, in the spring, the reason I think probably people get excited about the spring bite, and this was on my notes, this is two things I probably want to talk about, is probably the biggest reason, the determining factor that people succeed the most on early spring striper is these two factors, and you kind of touched on it. The bait, they're eating. They're just eating. So whenever you put something in front of them, they just eat it. Striper this early, they're getting more active, and they're going to start charging. They're a predatorial fish. They're going to go after what you present. So if you want to run crankbaits for them, you want to run umbrella rigs for them, shad, alewife, trout, you choose what bait you want to run and offer it in a perfect presentation. And if you find the striper and you run through them, you're going to be hard-pressed not to hook into one of them. So what do I think the striper are eating in early spring? Everything, man. Everything. Which I think is probably why people say that that's a good time to target it, is because they're more predictable, they're less finicky, they're less picky. So they haven't been pressured for the last 4 or 5 months. It's been pretty quiet at Lewistown Lake. So the lake is theirs. At this point, they're just they're in a groove right now. They're running their routes and they're living life, And then we're going to go out and beat them up with our summertime traffic here coming up in a couple weeks. Yep. Is there a desired water temperature? That is the question. I'm glad you asked it. So I'm reading it. So I started reading questions here while I got off track. So is there a desired water temperature? Yes, there is. I tell folks to look for the warmer waters, and you'll find your striped bass. So this is the second reason. The reason that I think people can target the striper better is they're more predictable. And it has to do with you can offer them whatever baits, and they're eaters this time of year, more so than the rest of the year. They're going to just eat what you present. They're not as picky. And then number two is they're more predictable because they're going to be looking for the warmer temperature waters. The temperature I tell folks to try and find is 50 degrees. If you found 50 degrees, you want to hang out close to there because you start your scouting right in that area. and you'll probably find striper. And then you set up on them or you troll through them, however you want to fish for them with whatever rigs you got and such. This is where you want to start. It doesn't mean you're always going to succeed, guys. Fishing is always fishing, right? So you might see them here and you'll go back through and you'll troll and you never see them again because they done swam over there. And now they're in a place over there you didn't think they'd ever be. And there they are. The coldest water. They swam way over there to the coldest water. And Randall told you to go look in the warm water. So fish will just do what fish do, right? I see that. So the water temperature right now, there's different reports, but we're below 50. So you're going to get water temperatures everywhere from, we'll just say like 40 to 45. We'll say it's around 40 to 45, but I guarantee there's somebody out there who is fishing the flats in full sun and is telling me that the water is 65 degrees. They have bad electronics or something. But I'm sure somebody's marking 50-degree water somewhere. But I think, generally speaking, I would probably tell you 40 to 45 is probably the water temperature. I'll know more tomorrow, and I do plan on doing a dock update here tomorrow. So I'll try to have a dock update for us here in a day or two, and I'll be on the water, so I'll be able to give you a better report. But yeah, good question. So when you get out there, what you're going to be looking for. So where are the striper? So here's where you're going to find the striper. This is what you're going to look for anyways. This is somewhere for you to start. This is the way I start looking for them. So these are rolls to be broken. So when you get out there, if you're riding the edge and the water is getting close to, it's 47 degrees and you got good water temperatures and stuff, and you're over there and you're marking a few striper, or you're marking some big marks along the bank, and you're thinking maybe there's striper, and then you see a whole school of striper over on the coldest side of the bank just blowing up and eating shad over there, and they're just destroying everything. Go fish the big blow up. Take all my advice, all my rolls, and break them. Go to where the fish are, right? But when you go out there and you're just searching, I want you to have some simple guidelines. So let me give you three. One, you're going to look for warmer waters. So you're always going to be looking for warmer waters. So you're going to try to find water that's 50 degrees. You may not find that. You may only find 45 degrees, something like that. But you're going to look for water that's 50 degrees. Where are you going to find 50-degree water? You're probably going to find it in the shallow flats. In the shallow flats, the flats are all over the lake. Flats are just areas where the ground is flat underwater. So the flats isn't a geographical location that everybody swarms to get all their striper fishing in. The flats are at different places all over the lakes. It's on some of the banks. They just come out and they taper off really slow underwater, and it's a generally flat area. So when you're out looking in these flats, they're going to be warmer, and whenever you're actually dragging baits, you guys can drag shallow for them too. You can drag your baits up to 5 feet. You can drag them all the way into the bank if you want. But the striper are going to be cruising, in the shallow areas. So something I never forget to run an unweighted shad. So on my outside board, the one that's closest to the bank, all I do is I run that shad behind my board. I don't know, about maybe 5 to 10 feet behind my board. So he's pretty close to the board. So my board's cutting through the water, and that shad is like right there, just following him along, right? And your shad will probably come up and he'll probably kick the top of the water a few times if you have it set right. It'll be like a top water shad. So look for the warm water. Look for the flats. And then in the midst of doing that, go check your favorite spot. So there is something to that, right? There was a comment earlier. If you read up here, it says, my biggest mistake is fishing a memory. Fishing a memory. There's a reason that's kind of ironed into your brain. It's because it is a spot that holds fish. So do check those places. But never forget, if the fish aren't there, they're just not there. Don't stay there. We're scouting at that point. Yeah, I can't speak on the campgrounds, but I think the Army Corps is actually doing a good job updating on that. So I'm not gonna step on them at all. Good evening, Moldy. I didn't see your comment. It just kind of snuck in there. So good evening. It's good to see you. Hello. It's my daughter's friend. Yeah, so Rick, that's what you were thinking too? Yeah. For water temperature, I reckon. Yeah, so before I jump around, so a lot of times when I'm doing this, my mind kind of jumps around from ideas. Sometimes I miss something. If there's something I missed in this chat, any idea or any direction you want to kind of take it in, if you have any questions, guys, this is the place we do it. Here at the Lewistown community, you guys are, like me, experiencing a, we'll call it a cultural shift. There's a philosophy that you should hoard the information you have and not talk to anybody about it. Just keep it in your pockets and never share. That culture is leaving, and we are moving in. We're going to be successful at this lake because we're working together. It's going to make us better fishermen, and it's going to make us better conservationists. If we want the future of the fishing community to be strong, we have to share our knowledge. We can't complain about the kids not going fishing if we haven't shown them how to go fishing. Simply put, we need to take the kids fishing, and we need to be teaching them. And if we're not doing it, who are they learning it from? Well, they're not. They're just bugging out. It's hard to get interested in something as difficult as the sport of fishing if you don't have a mentor. So I encourage everybody in there to get a mentor, be a mentor to somebody. It doesn't have to be a kid. Guys, listen, there's 38-year-old men who want to learn how to fish. Be a mentor to a friend. Take them fishing because you know the value that comes with it. Life lessons, the time outside, the health you get, just being in the sun. And we all know that water heals, man. Lewistown has done a lot. I've gotten so much value from this lake. I'm sure you guys have too. So I'm preaching to the choir. The value that we get from this lake, we will never be able to repay it. We will never be able to repay this lake. We want to share that with the people that we know, that we love, that we respect. The people in our circles. Let's do that. So Slice of Life says, I'm getting ready to book an Airbnb. So is a striper bite all day or better in the morning? Yeah, so that's a good question, actually. I didn't think of that. This might be like another role for you if you're out looking for striper. You're going to find that your striper are what's called crespant. Crespant just means that they're more active at dawn and they're more active at dusk. Those are the two times. And it has to do with how they see, and it's a trigger response, with low light conditions. So are they better day or night? You can catch them 24 hours a day. And I did want to point this out. You can catch them everywhere on the lake. So 24 hours a day, everywhere on the lake, you can find striper and you can fish for them. The myth that the striper all, go hide in the shallows or hide in the deep or hide up lake or hide, down toward the dam. None of that stuff's true. The striper are everywhere. They are everywhere. You can go find them everywhere. You see them all the time. If you actually start to learn your electronics, you'll really start to understand that, because the marks you're seeing, they're just not, they're not like largemouth bass. There's not too many largemouth bass out there that are 30 pounds, So when you see a big fish like that, it could be a carp or it could be a striper. And buddy, go catch it, man, because those golden stripers, they're a lot of fun too. Yeah, ask the questions. That's right. Rick's right. How much do you learn if you don't ask questions? Yeah, so if you guys have any questions for me, throw them at me right now. We're kind of on the tail end of this. We're kind of dropping off. But when you're out there, just those are the three things I want you to keep in mind. First of all, flats, temperatures. So you're looking for warmer waters, and you're looking everywhere. So don't put horse blinders on and only go to an old memory. All right? Go out, use your electronics. Guys, scout. Really go out and learn this lake. You're going to find that it pays off in dividends. You're going to be happy you did it. If you do have a spot that you absolutely must check, that you just know this about yourself, you are not leaving the lake until you go to that spot, make it your last stop. Park at the dock that's furthest from it, and force yourself to check things on the way up on the east bank to your spot, and then on the way back to the dock, you check everything on the west bank. Make scouting part of your outing. How's that for a line? I got bars. Make scouting part of your outing. How do you spot my boat on the lake? So my boat is it's black. It's got a black hull, and it's got a blue bimini cover, a little roof. So you see a whole bunch of fishing rods on it. And when in doubt, you can just motor over, and the guy driving the boat will kind of look like this. Yeah, and if you don't have my number yet, just put it in your phone. You can shoot me a text and say, "Hey, is that you over by mile marker 4?" Yeah, yes, it is. I am doing striper trips this year. My first one is actually Thursday. I'm going to take my first striper trip out on Thursday, and then Friday I got a crew that wants to go jig up some Lakers, man. And I think we're going to have a good time. Yeah. So where am I going to launch tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm probably going to launch 7 points. I got a stink bug climbing up the wall next to me. Oh, I can't get him. I'll just have to wait till later. Yeah, I'm going to put in 7 points. I'm interested in checking out, I said about the flats, so I'm probably going to go up around Trough Creek. So tomorrow's a scouting day for me. I'm just going to go out. I might put a line in the water. I might not. I don't even know. I'm just out to run the lake and look. I'm more concerned about catching you guys fish than I am about me. I have caught everything that's in the lake many times, and I love to do that. I'm passionate about it. I really am. But somebody paid me to take them fishing. So when I take them out, baby, they're getting all of me. So I'm a full send. Whenever they get on the boat, we're gonna go out locked and loaded, man. We're gonna play to win. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do some scouting tomorrow. Do the dock update for y'all. But I'm gonna scout probably. I'm gonna look at a lot of places between Trough Creek and probably as far down as mile marker 2. So it's a significant swath. But I'm gonna do my best to go see some of that area anyways. I might go down again on Wednesday too. I'm not sure. I wouldn't mind to just kind of poke around and not be pressured on time too, you know. So it'd be nice to have a second day. So 7 points. So I'm gonna go 7 points. I'm gonna go south up to around Trough Creek, and then I'm gonna work my way back looking around. So Brian H., you just put in a couple words there. So stalking, catch and release, pressure. I'll just, if you want to add something to it, I'll speak top of my mind here. You said about what's the striper population outlook. If you want details like that, I'm going to point you toward the Striped Bass Association because they have a scientific outlook on that, and they track it. They have been tracking it for years. I was talking to a gentleman from the Striped Bass Association the other day, and he went right over my head. Like the stuff he was talking about was incredible. The fact that they have it that meticulously tracked for all those years. So go to the Striped Bass Association. They'll give you those numbers on the population and stuff and what to expect in the years to come. Let me say that I'm optimistic. So the stocking and then catch release. So I do want to say something about catch and release. I'm pro harvest on striped bass. The exception to that is early spring. So we're in the section of the year where I think you're going to be the striped bass are in great shape if you release them. Because the water temperatures are still really cold, the striped bass will have a high recovery rate, meaning they'll have a low mortality with the colder water. What I'm going to tell you to keep in the back of your mind is if you're fishing and the water temperatures are 70 degrees or warmer, if you catch a striped bass in 70 degrees or warmer, my opinion is that you should take that striper home and you should enjoy it with the family because it's a good fish to harvest. And I think that if you were to release it, it's going to die. We have a lot of scientific studies that show us if the water temperature is above 70, they'll swim off, they'll kick off, but then in a day or two, they're dead. They just do not survive whenever the water's warmer. So I would encourage you to practice catch, release during the colder water seasons, and then practice harvest during the warmer water seasons. And that's 70 degrees. So if it's below 70, let it go. If it's above 70, take it home. And guys, if you catch a striper and he's choked on a hook and there's blood coming out of his gills and his belly's floating up to the top of the water, take that fish home, man. It's okay to eat fish. The community here at Lewistown has come around on that. I think we understand that it's okay to eat fish. You're allowed to. You don't need anybody's permission. You're allowed to eat fish. You pay that license, you're allowed to take, I think, 2 of them home every day. So, now pressure. Pressure is interesting because it's difficult to put a number on that, right? Like, what's the value or the measure of pressure as far as fishing pressure and how much boat traffic contributes to pressured fish or the agitation of fish? How much does the pressure from other competition species in the lake? Though I will say that I think the striper are in a great lake, and I think the reason they're working out so well is because Lewistown Lake is so well suited for striped bass. So there's a lot to be considered about pressure, and again, I'll say I'm not the guy. And I want to point you guys to the Striped Bass Association. Pennsylvania Striped Bass Association has been doing this for a very, very long time. And in the years to come, I hope to learn more about them and get more involved with them. But I'm not there yet. And I'm not ready to speak for them yet because that's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I have a lot of education that I need to gain from that group, and I ain't there yet. You bet, Brian. No problem. Thank you. Appreciate it. Slice of life. What's the floating timber like on Lewistown in the spring? Usually, if you get debris on the water, it's usually following a storm. So I think it's probably pretty clear. That being said, there's always floating debris at Lewistown. About half of it you won't see because it's below the surface of the water. One pro to high boat traffic is that debris tends to stay off to the banks because we're ripping up and down the main channel, and that the wake just kind of pushes that stuff all to the sides. So that's actually a benefit to high traffic on the lake, because you can actually get that debris pushed off to the side, and then you and I can still run the lake with relative low collisions with debris. You say you're usually there in early July, but haven't had the fun of spring fishing there. Yeah, so just just be wise as you can be, Maybe keep the engine trimmed up, ride a little bit slower, and try to follow the wake line of another boat that may have gone through 5 minutes ahead of you. So let somebody else blaze the trail, and then you follow them as often as you can. And you're going to see just in a couple weeks, the debris that would have been on the water is now going to be pushed off to the side. It's not going to take long. Doesn't take too much boat traffic, and we get it cleared up pretty good. So where are the striper guys? I'm going to wrap this stream up, kind of doing a recap here. So where are the stripers? So if you are going to Lake Raystown, choose a dock. It doesn't matter. Go to the dock that's not closest to your most recent successful memory. So force yourself to go to a dock that encourages you to do some scouting. Scouting on your outing. So you're going to scout up the east bank to your favorite spot, and you're going to scout on the west bank back to the dock. And in the process of doing that, you're going to learn something. And imagine if you did that every time you went to the lake. You're going to learn another swath of the lake. And you're going to have information in real time. You're going to have a dock update with much more detail and personalized to you and your personal area that you're interested in fishing. So my dock updates are pretty generalized. There's only so much you can say from the dock anyway. You got to get out on the water. So Raystown, if you get out there, it's a boater's lake. You want a boat. So if you're bank angling, I gave you 2 ideas there, Weavers and then one at 7 points. Those are the 2 big ones. And if you hit the water, you want to be looking for the warmer temperatures. We're trying to find 50 degrees. And there's a reason for that. You can, again, look at, you start studying striper, there's a reason for that. It's a whole thing. I don't want to go into it just now, but you're going to look for 50 degrees. You're going to check the flats, and you're going to check everywhere on the lake. Don't get pigeonholed to a certain stretch of the lake. The striper are everywhere. They are everywhere. Recommended rod and reel? Yeah, absolutely, man. I got a link right below this video. You just go down, you click on the link, and it'll take you right to it. I found a cheap one that I say cheap. It's a less expensive quality rod that I think I've fished with it for a couple years. I've of course got some expensive ones, but there's nothing wrong with the ones that's linked down below. So check it out. Check it out. See if you like it. What do I scout with? Because we're looking at shallow flats, most of the time I'm scouting with side imagery. And that's just out of necessity. Striper will spend the majority of their life in less than 50 feet of water. And I really think you'd probably be okay scouting in less than 30 feet of water this time of year. They're going to be, that's actually a good tip. We're looking in the shallows. I didn't say what the shallows were. 30 feet and less flats. So the shallows, you're going to look at 30 feet or less. And in 30 feet or less, your down scan and sonar is almost useless. There's not much water below your boat for it to search. You're going to get a real wide angle, and that starts to help. But your side imagery is picking that up. Your side imagery is going to see a lot more than anything that's down facing. And I only look about 80 feet out. I don't like to look too much further than that. And Jeff, yeah, I did put I said the rod, but the reel is listed down below as well. Yeah, and I do want to mention my affiliate links. I see people are following those affiliate links. They do pay me a small commission whenever you guys buy something. Doesn't cost you anything extra, and it's a very small commission, but I do see that coming through, which means you guys are following those links. Thank you. I appreciate it in a small way that does support the company. I think I'm doing like $20 or $25 a month with those affiliate links. So that's good. It's like every month I get to go out to get pizza with my kids because you guys follow the links. And it doesn't cost anything to you guys. So thank you. So I'll hang out for another 5 minutes. I'll answer any final questions you have, any details that you want to know, maybe something I glazed over and didn't realize it. we are an open book here. So I don't want to go to the grave with any of this information stuck in my head. If you guys have any questions, ask away. But I'm just going to hang out with you for a few minutes here and just make small talk, I guess. For my stream, I would point, or not my stream, my charter, I was looking at potential other things to do other than just chartering, because there's the whole summertime crowd is up there. Not all of them want to go fishing. And I had two major ideas come up. One was just touring the lake, just getting on a boat and going for a ride. And I thought that I would call it the Eagles and Islands Tour. The reason being is I know where a lot of the eagles are nesting, and so I could drive around and show the islands of Raystown Lake. So there's a couple islands on the lake, and I could drive and show the islands, and I could make strategic stops where the eagles are known to be, flying through or nesting. And the idea is, of course, somebody could take some pictures or just enjoy a day out riding on the water. And the second thing was cremation scattering. I know it's really popular at Raystown Lake to scatter ashes. And I personally, that's what I tell my kids. I said, don't overthink it, guys. Raystown Lake's my favorite place on earth. That's where my ashes will be. You guys heard the song? Raystown Water Time? Yeah. Spread my ashes. Right there at Raystown. I'll play it for you on the outro. I'll play the song on the way out. Raystown Water Time is available on the website too. If you guys want to download it, it's $1.99, guys. So if you guys want to support the channel in a little way, I recorded it right here with this microphone. So it is what it is. It's that kind of recording, but you're welcome to give it a listen to. Do I play music while fishing? No, I don't. I do not. No. I give when I'm out with a charter, I give it my full focus. You'll notice that I don't do videos of my charters. Very rarely do I do that. And it's just, I'm working. I'm just working. I'm focused on putting fish in the boat for them. And I give them that full attention. So once in a while, I'll get a buddy on the boat that, got a charter. And so I'll film that stuff. In the case of the one I'm thinking of is Big Hickey. You can watch that video. Yeah. Big Hickey. That was a good trip, too. We caught a lot of fish, and it's all captured on video, so you can check it out. And that gives you a good idea of what the charter's like, too. Good lures for striper. Yeah, I think if you stick to the basics and just work them hard. So lures for striper, I'll give you a big jig head and a big body, big hook, and use colors like white and chartreuse. Those are just popular for stripers. So if you're casting for them during the day, you whip something like that in front of them, you should pick up a bite. The other thing to do is to throw A-rigs or troll your umbrella rigs. So big paddle-tailed, big heads, jig heads on a big paddle tail. Something like that would be good. You want a thicker, like a broomstick of a rod for casting those things. You'll get your reps in too. You'll be sore. Be throwing that thing. Great information. Hey, I appreciate that. Big Macs, yeah. If you got them, run them. Well, guys, I'm going to play this song for us. I'm going to say goodnight to you right whenever it's over. But thank you for all the input and the feedback and stuff. If you guys would do this right here for me, I'd appreciate it. And that feeds the algorithm with YouTube. And the channel's been growing fast, guys. My other channel has been blowing this one out of the water, though. So if you want to watch my music channel, it's linked down below. And we're doing good, man. It's going to be a great year. The season's just starting. And we're going to have a good time, man. We're going to enjoy some Raystown water time this year. So I'm going to sit here with you. We'll listen to the song, and then I'll say goodnight. It's an Appalachian river, boys, and the whiskey on that river pours like honey straight from mouth to comb and meat after a tour. There are honest wives and the fishing's fine. When you're here, you're a friend of mine. Pioneers and buccaneers, it's race down water time. Young man in a big old world fell in love with just one girl. Girl ran off, now he's alone. Race down water time. Darker days of memories past. God willing, this ice won't last. Only home he's ever known. It's race down water time. It's an Appalachian river, boys, and the whiskey on that river pours like honey straight from mouth to comb and meat after a tour. There are honest wives and the fishing's fine. When you're here, you're a friend of mine. Pioneers and buccaneers, it's race down water time. If the lake draws down and the fish don't bite, if Party Cove don't rock all night, if the river stops its mighty flow, he'll have one place to go. So spread his ashes thin out there, whisper up your silent prayer. There's one true home he'll finally go to find. It's an Appalachian river, boys, and the whiskey on that river pours like honey straight from mouth to comb and meat after a tour. There are honest wives and the fishing's fine. When you're here, you're a friend of mine. Pioneers and buccaneers, it's race down water time. Tight lines and fishermen lies, race down water time. Race Town Water Time. Yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys checking out the live stream. Go to randallrydes.com if you want to download that song. It's $1.99, so it's an easy way to support the channel, and you guys have been doing that incredibly. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you guys. This community is changing right now. We're both part of that. We're all part of that. So I feel that things are changing. It's going to be a great year. I think that's it. I'm going to let you go with that. Much love. Much respect. Good night, guys.